You finally have a moment to stop and it feels wrong. You sit down and immediately think of everything you should be doing. You try to relax and your mind starts listing. You give yourself permission to rest and some part of you refuses to accept it. And you don't know why, because logically you're allowed to rest. You know that. So why does it feel like you have to earn it first? And what happens when you never quite feel like you have? Most of us were never taught that rest is a right. You were taught that it's a reward. You rest when the work is done. You relax when you earned it. You take a break when you've been productive enough to justify stopping. And the problem is the work is never done. There is always something else, always another thing to tick off before you're allowed to just be. So the rest, it never comes. Or when it does, it's tainted, shadowed by guilt, by the list, by the feeling that you're wasting something. And slowly, without realizing it, you forgot how to stop. Not because you're bad at resting, because you never were taught it was allowed. Here's here's the reframe. Rest isn't the absence of productivity, it's the form of it. Your nervous system repairs during rest, your creativity regenerates, your emotional capacity, the ability to actually show up for people, to feel things, to be present, that requires rest to function. You cannot pour from empty. You cannot think clearly from depleted. You cannot be the person you want to be when you're running on nothing. The guilt you feel when you rest isn't a moral signal, it's a conditioned response. Someone taught you that your worth is tied to your output. And that's the lie we need to talk about because it's costing you more than you know. When when you can't rest, really rest, the body keeps the score, the tension that never leaves your shoulders, the sleep that never quite restores you, the irritability that appears out of nowhere because you've been running on empty for so long you've forgotten what full feels like. And then there's something deeper than physical exhaustion. When your worth is tied to what you produce, you lose touch with who you are when you're not producing. You become the job, the output, the function, and the human underneath all of it gets quieter and quieter. So when you're not being useful, because that person deserves to exist too. I want to say something that might land really strangely. Resting is an act of self respect, not laziness, not giving up, not falling behind. An act of self respect. It's saying my body matters, my mind matters, my well being is not a footnote to my productivity. It's the foundation of everything, and the version of you that keeps pushing through, that never stops, that always has more to give. That version is not strong. That version is scared that if you stop, you'll lose your worth. That if you rest, you'll fall behind, that if you slow down, you'll be seamless. But what if slowing down is exactly what lets you finally catch up to yourself? Rest doesn't have to be earned. It doesn't have to be justified. It doesn't have to wait until everything is done because everything is never done. It can just be a walk without a purpose, an hour where you do nothing and call it enough, a morning where you don't check your phone and the world doesn't end. Start small. Notice the guilt when it comes, and instead of obeying it, just name it. That's old conditioning, not truth. You don't you don't have to earn the right to rest. You're a human being. You're a human being. You have the right to rest.